Welcome to Love Your Life with Chris Tackett. I'm a certified life coach, and today we're going to talk about furthering your goals. In our first episode, which was last week's episode, and if you haven't seen it, go to my.pegcentral.com and watch it, because I outlined a few things to help you learn to create a new goal. So those of you who've seen it have a goal. And if you haven't seen it, there are 6 major steps I'll outline real quickly just to review to creating a really good, strong goal. The first thing is be very specific about your goal. Be proactive, use your resources, make a plan, consider the consequences, and always use positive present tense language. That is the key. That positive present tense language, that's going to get you everywhere. Okay? So today, I want to check in with you. I want to find out what you've been doing to further your goals. Most successful people that I know, they don't just let their dreams rattle around in their heads. They have clear, specific ideas about what they want to do to reach their goal. They write them out and they make a plan and they ask themselves, what am I going to do next to get where I'm headed? So I want you to ask yourself, what have you specifically been doing to reach your goals? Because I can guarantee if you just sit there, it's not going to happen. You got to get up and move. Most of us are thinking about accomplishing something. Maybe your goals aren't really clear and well-defined yet, but you have something in mind. You've got goals. You have to have goals. Maybe your goal is to get healthy. Maybe your goal is to become a hairstylist or go to school, learn something new, learn a new language, right? You have these ideas of things you want to do. So let's take the getting healthy one. So your goal is to get healthy. So maybe today you made yourself a salad for lunch, or maybe you skipped the Big Mac and ate something at home instead, or you exercised today, or you took the stairs instead of the elevator today. As you're moving through these goals, make those kind of specific lists that give you a very specific idea of what you need to be doing to further yourself in that goal. But here's what happens really, right? We make these great goals and then life happens. So your kid has a birthday party and you ate that piece of cake. Life gets in the way, you worked late, so you skipped your workout. Somebody discouraged you by saying something that was discouraging, so you chose to believe them and give up on your dream. I use these as examples because most of us can pretty much identify with them. They've happened to us all. But your goal could be anything, and the same sort of thing happens. It's science. It's the way our brains are wired. We're very resistant to changing our minds. Many of us know what we want, and we can even identify why we want it, but we still have a hard time getting it. Think about getting healthy. We know why we want to get healthy. We want to combat heart disease. We want to have slimmer figures. We want to be able to play with our kids. We want to go on some hiking trip or whatever. We know why we want to do it, and we still don't do it. That's because it's hard to regroove the way your brain is already programmed. So I'm going to help you today take one baby step towards rewiring that brain towards something positive. You have enormous potential inside of you, and all you need to do is learn how to wake it up. So I'm going to talk about vision boards. Now, I really like vision boards, and I'm going to teach you vision boards because they're very easy. But next week, tune in because I'm going to teach you how to change that vision board to an action board, and that's where you get really powerful results. If you have questions in the meantime, please make sure that you contact me. My email is catackett@hotmail.com, and I'm available for questions. I love to answer them, so please don't hesitate to contact me. So let me tell you about vision boards. Vision boards are a collection, a collage of pictures, images, quotes, art, photos, anything that makes you happy or is related to your goal, and you put it on a board and you put it somewhere where you can see it. It works on this principle of the law of attraction. Some of you may have heard of the law of attraction before. Basically, it says that you get what you think about all the time. So lots of us are stuck in this thinking about all that negative stuff, especially when we're sitting at home in the evenings. You know, what do? You turn on the TV. And of course, we want to know what's going on in the world today. So we turn on the news. And what happens on the news? Negative story after terrible story, after war, after death, after natural disaster, and there's rarely anything good. And this is happening all over. And we're feeding our brains with all this negative stuff, right? And then we start all this negative self-talk when we look in the mirror, and we start living that. So the idea behind positive psychology and vision boards and things like this is that we change that dialogue and we change the things we're bringing in to more positive things that forward us to the places we want to be, even if we're not quite there yet. So we stop listening for the negative things and we start really practicing what some of you may have heard of, gratitude, and being thankful for things in our lives and really looking at all the amazing things. I put something up on my Facebook page, let's play a game and tell me some positive things or things that make you happy, and it was really fun, and I really didn't think it was going to be as cool as it was, but I started and I put a few things. And I said family and friends don't count because we already know they make you happy, right? So I want you to think of all the small things in your life, you know, like jumping in a cool pool on a hot day, or peanut butter chocolate ice cream, or wearing cotton, or, you know, spotting a really rare bird, those kind of things. And people were going crazy listing all these really positive things. I encourage you to do that as well, because it really does change the way you see things, and it starts to make you focus on all of those positive things that are already in your life. And this is part of what a vision board will help you do. Focus on those positive things that are already in your life. So a vision board is a dream board or a treasure map or a vision map. And there's some really easy steps to creating your own. So I'm going to show you. First of all, you need to choose a goal. So I'm working on enhancing my business. So my goal is 10 new clients by end of August. That's my goal. So I wrote it on my paper. You don't have to. But I prefer it. I'm I'm word oriented, and I know that about myself. So many of my things on my vision board are going to be words. Some of you are going to be pictures. So pick a goal. Are you going to start your own business? Are you going to pass your classes? Are you going to become a fabulous hairdresser? Are you going to look at things more positively? I mean, these don't have to be giant goals, but they can be. Okay, so 10 new clients by the end of August. And then you get your scissors and you get your trusty glue stick. I mean, easy, kindergarten stuff. Anybody can do this. And a few magazines, or you can go on the internet and print things off if it's very specific stuff that you want, like, you know, this perfect camera or something that you're hoping to get. You know, go on the internet, print these pictures off, print off quotes of your favorites, write them down, get some photographs of your family or of things that you've been to before and you want to get to again. I like to use magazines. It's easy, it's simple, it's easy to come by. You can do this a million different ways. Okay, so you get your scissors, glue, magazines, and your paper. And then you start going through these magazines and finding pictures and words and things that jump off the page at you that scream, yeah, that's my goal. That's where I should be thinking. And so the first picture for me that I found was a whole bunch of people. I don't know who these people are, but there's a whole bunch of them. And there's actually 13 in this picture. Well, I want 10 new clients, and I thought it's always good to, aim a little higher. So I have 13. So I'm going to glue those on my page, 13 people. And then I have believe in magic, because to me right now, I have no idea how I'm going to get there. And that's really hard. But I have to believe that this is going to happen for me. And then I have lots of other, like I told you, I'm very word oriented. So I just want you to see. Simple solutions. I found the strength to do what I love. Women who make a difference, because that's who I want to be. Okay? And I cut all these things out. Oh, one of the things I like to do is art when I'm working with people. So I took a picture of a happy family that's done in artwork, and I thought that was very significant to what I want to do. Significant meetings. The reason I'm doing what I'm doing right now is because I hate meetings. So I cut this out specifically, so I should go like this. And you can do this too. You can change things to say what you want. I want it to be no more meetings. I don't want to go to any more staff meetings. Okay? And so you arrange these onto your vision board however you want. Some people I've seen use cork boards, and then they pin them and change them out as they reach their goals or move forward, or add things as they find them. This, like I said, can take lots of forms. So you glue them all on here, and you're going to get something that looks like this. And I have two. This is one that I made, and I made this, I don't know, about a year ago, and it was about my business. And it was about losing weight and having more energy. And just looking at that every day, my life started to change, because I was always focusing in on those things, taking care of myself, granting other people's wishes, smiling when I looked in the mirror. Sometimes we don't do that enough. Smile at ourselves when we're looking in the mirror, I realized that I was smiling a lot more. And something else that started happening to me was I started getting so much positive back in my life. I was getting a lot of positive feedback from other people, but also the trajectory of where I was going was always perfect. I actually started to feel a little bit guilty because my life was going so well. And it wasn't magic. It was not because I made a vision board and everything changed, but it was because I took it really seriously. And we'll learn next week about how to put the action behind it. But it has to start somewhere, and that somewhere is finding that goal and starting to put the pieces together. So that's where we're at right now. And then I want to show you one more, which I think is really an exciting one. While I was making mine, I had my 5-year-old daughter at the time sit down with me and make her one. And I told her, I want you to put pictures of things that you enjoy and maybe things you'd like to do in your life. And of course, she got a pet magazine, and she loves animals. And this is what hers looks like. And as you can see, there's tons of animals on it. There's all kinds of animals down at the bottom, and there's a woman at the top walking a whole bunch of dogs. Now, my daughter's had this, and I love that it says wake up happy, and she does. She is the happiest girl in the world when she wakes up. So she reaches that goal every day. But she's had that hanging on the back of her door for probably close to a year now, and I never look at it because it's on the back side of her door. So I haven't seen it in a year, and I just pulled it out when I knew I was going to do this episode. And I looked at it, and I recognized that the whole thing is full of pets and the dog walker. So I just have to tell you, this is a 5-year-old who really doesn't have that much control over what's going on in her life and what her mom does with her and takes her and all of these things. But she put these goals out there, and she thinks about them all the time. And her teacher sent home a note to me mid-school year asking if she would be interested in being on this TV show that WCTV does, and it's the Pet Panel for Pay It Forward for Pets. And of course I said yes, and Larkin is now on that show. And dawned on me that she had that, I want to work with pets. We certainly can't have all those pets in our home. And we started volunteering at another organization with pets, and now we're dog walkers. And Larkin has talked about wanting to walk dogs for a long time, and she also really wants to have dogs. Right now we can't have dogs, so we volunteer. And here I didn't even realize that all that stuff is on her vision board, and that stuff is happening for her. I just think that, again, it's that law of attraction. When you put it out there, things start happening. So if a 5-year-old can do it and see change, if I can do it and see change, it's so easy. All you have to do is sit and put that critic aside. I think I need to say this every single episode. Put your critic aside, because this isn't about it being the most beautiful art project you've ever done. It's about getting those goals on paper and seeing them so that you can start forwarding that goal. So I want you to see that it's so simple. But for those of you who doubt that it could possibly be this simple, it is and it isn't. And next week I will talk about turning this into action. But I'm going to leave this episode with a story to illustrate the point about this law of attraction, and that when you start seeing the beauty in things and you start looking at the positives and being thankful for even the small things in life, big things start to happen. So this story is from one of my favorite books. It's called Be the Miracle by Regina Brett. And she tells about this family with a very gravely ill young daughter, probably 5 or 6-ish. And she's at the hospital, and she was on a ventilator, wheelchair bound, lots of gadgets and gizmos, medical equipment that needed to be taken care of. The doctor said she probably wouldn't live for very many more weeks. So she had weeks left to live. She would definitely never leave the intensive care unit and certainly never make it home. But the family really wanted her to live her last days at home with family in her bedroom. Well, their home needed many, many, many modifications, a wheelchair ramp, wheelchair accessibility through the home, in order for her to even think about coming home. So this was an enormous task. And somebody in the family contacted this Regina Brett, who was a newspaper writer, and asked her to write an article about this little girl and her need, and hopefully elicit some change through the public, asking them for donations, money, time, these kind of things. And Regina Brett said, this girl's need is way too big. It's bigger of a task than I can manage on my own. I can't do this. But the family urged her. They continued to take action, and they asked again. And this woman, Regina, felt compelled to come into the hospital and meet the family and meet the little girl. And she went. And after that meeting, she decided, what harm could it do to write this article? So she wrote an article just detailing the girl's needs and what it would take. And the day after her article ran in the paper, a contractor called and said, I want to build the wheelchair ramp. I want to donate all my time, all the cost of materials, my workers' time, all of it is donated. I want to do this. And they did it. And this allowed this little girl to come home and live at home. And remember, I said she only had weeks left to live. She actually ended up living for 10 months after this. And I really believe it's probably because she was at home and not in the hospital. She lived for 10 months, and she had a brand new bedroom, all kinds of wheelchair accessible amenities, and this wheelchair ramp. And it was all because one person knew that she could maybe make a small difference, and she had no idea what she was doing, how she was going to get there, and it snowballed from there. So sometimes we don't have to have the answers. We don't have to have the roadmap to how we're going to get there. And that stops many people from making their goals happen, is because I have no idea how I'm going to lose 60 pounds. That's a lot of weight, you know? But if you start focusing on it step by step, little by little, and focusing on all the positive changes that are happening, it happens. It happens faster, it happens easier, and it's not work anymore. So you just never know when a miracle might happen. And that is something that I want you to always remember. And remember to realize that happiness doesn't come from material things and from money. You know, money is nice and money helps out. But research has shown, when happiness researchers have found out that people who have loads of money and more money than they need actually have more stress. People who have more friends and more gratitude and not so much money have a lot more happiness. So nothing is too great, too absurd, too insurmountable. Amplify all the good things in your life and you'll certainly get more and more and more of it. So today, make a vision board, magnify your dreams, illuminate the possibility that they could possibly come true, that you could actually get there, and think that there is that something just waiting for you. The other thing I want you to do is think about 3 things that you're grateful for. Just 3 small things. I'm really appreciative to be here today. If you have questions, if you have anything you want to talk about, questions about vision boards, please feel free to email me, catackett@hotmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you. And please tune in next week while we turn those vision boards into action boards and really get you going and light that fire. Thank you.